16th, 2021 will please come to order. Those of you who are in attendance this evening, if you would, please check your electronic devices to make sure that they are on vibrate or turned down. For those of you who are participating remotely, we are once again affording members of the public the opportunity to participate in our meetings remotely. To that end, those members of the public who are participating will be asked to place their microphone on mute during the meeting, with the exception of any public hearing. At the appropriate point in the public hearing, I will invite the public to unmute their microphone for purposes of submitting such comments as they wish to make, one person at a time. All persons wishing to make public comments will be asked to first state their name and address for the record, and after completing his or her public comments, members of the public will once again be asked to place their microphone on mute, and we thank everyone for their cooperation. And with that, if you would, please join us in rising for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence in remembrance of former School City of Mishawaka teacher, coach, Mishawaka High School principal, and administrator Bob Smith, who recently passed away.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. DeMade?
Here.
Mr. Benicki?
Here.
Mr. Hazen?
Here.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Here.
Mr. Emmons?
Here.
Mr. Belovich?
Here.
Mr. Compton?
Here.
Mrs. Volker?
Here.
Mr. Hicksonbaugh?
Here. Approval of the minutes of our regular meeting of August 2nd, 2021. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, then the minutes will stand approved as received from the clerk's office. Petitions, communications, remonstrance, and memorial.
Yes, Mr. President, I have a letter from the Board of Zoning Appeals regarding their recommendations from their August 10th, 2021 meeting. Honorable members, a regular meeting of the Mishawaka Board of Zoning Appeals was held on the above reference date, at which time the following use variance was considered. Appeal number 2021-24, an appeal submitted by Mark Shea, trustee of the John C. Shea Sr. Irrevocable Trust, and Rosemary Shea, trustee of the Rosemary Shea Revocable Trust, requesting a use variance for 218 West Cleveland Road in Granger to allow microblading and permanent makeup on a C2 shopping center commercial property. The board, with a vote of 5-0, recommended approval. This is signed by Carrie Myers, administrative planner. We also have a letter of recommendation from the City Plan Commission regarding their August 10th, 2021 meeting. Honorable members, a regular meeting of the Mishawaka Plan Commission was held on the above reference date, at which time the following proposed ordinances were considered. Petition number 2021-11, a request submitted by John and Kelly Conan, requesting to rezone 115 Klein Street from C1 General Commercial District to R1 Single Family Residential District. The commission, with a vote of 5-0, recommended approval. Petition number 2021-12, a request submitted by Burkett Property Group LLC, requesting to annex and zone the 58200 block of South Burkett Avenue to I-1 Light Industrial. The commission, with a vote of 5-0, recommended approval. Pursuant to Indiana Code 36-7-4-605, the Mishawaka Plan Commission hereby certifies to the Mishawaka Common Council the attached proposed ordinances regarding the above matters. This is signed by Carrie Myers, administrative planner.
Thank you. This evening, we have no report of any special committee, so we'll move into ordinances on first reading.
Proposed ordinance number 2021-28, an ordinance amending Chapter 10 of the Municipal Code of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, is from time to time amended, commonly known as the Amusements and Entertainments Ordinance of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana.
Proposed ordinance number 2021-28 will be assigned to the Public Health and Safety Committee.
Proposed ordinance number 2021-29, an ordinance amending Chapter 137 of the Municipal Code of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, as from time to time amended, commonly known as the Zoning Ordinance of 1966 of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana. This is to rezone a rear portion of property from C1 General Commercial to R1 Single Family Residential, 115 Klein Street.
Proposed ordinance number 2021-29 will be assigned to the Land Use Planning Committee.
Proposed ordinance number 2021-30, an ordinance annexing contiguous territory to the city of Mishawaka, Indiana, and providing zoning classification therefore. This is annexation and rezoning to I-1 Light Industrial District for a future expansion of adjacent manufacturing business. It's vacant land in 58200 block of Burkett Road, west of 1405 and 1505 Burkett Road.
Proposed ordinance number 2021-30 will be assigned to the Land Use Planning Committee. Resolutions.
Resolution R 2021-19, resolution modifying local income tax rates in St. Joseph County, Indiana.
Thank you. This is a public hearing on proposed resolution 2021-19. Anyone wishing to speak in favor, if you would, please come forward to the podium.
Mr. President, council members, Dave Wood, Mayor, here to let you know that I support Resolution 2021-19. Why the need to do this? Well, we have a 911 communication center that we consolidated within the past few years. We've had some growing pains there to be sure, but with the right leadership in place now and with the right technology in place now and the right staff in place now, we're ready to look at how we fund this on a permanent basis. I've long believed that the 911 Communication Center is a mission-critical service that each and every person in St. Joseph County has equal access to. Therefore, we should pay for it equally. That's not happening now. Unlike libraries, where every citizen supports roughly equally with their tax dollars, the 911 Communication Center is not like that at all. Every citizen has equal access. Some pay substantially more for that access. Mishawaka citizens are being essentially double taxed. Well, why is that, you might ask? Well, if you live in rural parts of the county, yeah, it's funded three ways: by the city of Mishawaka, the city of South Bend, and St. Joseph County. If you live in a rural part of the county, you pay maybe from the St. Joe County portion of your taxes. If you live in Mishawaka, you pay taxes in Mishawaka and you pay taxes in St. Joe County, both of which go to support the 911 Communication Center. And so I believe that every community should have roughly equal skin in the game. This model proposal is not new. It's modified from what Commissioner Castellani and I recommended a couple of years ago. We also asked for a public meeting and got one to get some feedback, which we certainly got. This proposal is very similar to what we proposed or recommended originally. And I see we have a representative here who could probably do a deep dive in the weeds if you prefer. But the way I see this proposal is that it is a more equitable way of funding this vital service that every citizen has access to, mission critical. Very importantly, no tax increase is needed for this. This is a tax shift, which then will fund this, give them a dedicated amount for which they will live within going forward, and also enough to support their vital needs and some growth too. And lastly, it does not impact school funding. And that was important to us here in Mishawaka that we not do that. So those are just a few key reasons why I support this and would encourage you to do the same.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any questions for Mayor Wood? Mr. Mayor, thank you for your comments, and in particular, thank you for the partnership between you and your administration and the council as we've worked through this process over the past couple of years. I think it's fair to say that to a certain extent, COVID-19, along with other issues, altered the timeline and the time frame here with regard to this issue. But again, I've been very pleased with the work that we've done in conjunction, and I think it's fair to say, and anybody who has been in any part of the meetings, I think would agree with me that Mishawaka has spoken with one voice throughout this process. So thank you for all of that.
Thank you and all council members for that, and I think it sends an important message that we're all here, looking at this issue, and so thank you very much for taking it on.
Thank you. Is there anyone else physically present who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed resolution? If you would, please come forward. Seeing no one, is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed resolution? Then, is there anyone physically present who wishes to speak in opposition to the proposed resolution? If so, please come forward. And then, is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition to the proposed resolution? Thank you. Are there any council members who wish to speak? Once again, thank you to all involved in the process of putting this resolution together, the mayor and the administration, but also members of the council. In particular, I want to acknowledge Councilman Emmons and Councilman Hazen, who at various times participated in meetings along with myself. And those meetings included our friends from St. Joseph County government and the city of South Bend. And in keeping with the theme, I think we appreciated the opportunity to collaborate with them and to work through this issue. The mayor's comments were well taken, and again, I don't think we can underscore too frequently the fact that this is a tax shift. It is not a tax increase for any individual taxpayer or entity that pays taxes in St. Joseph County, Indiana. But it has the additional benefit of not only bringing equity into the funding formula, but it allows us to free up some additional revenue at a time where, as proud as we are of the services that we offer in Mishawaka and provide on a daily basis, there are always unmet needs that we would like to fund, and this is one way potentially to accomplish that. So again, thank you to all involved. It's been a long time coming, but we're finally here. So I appreciate the work and the collaboration throughout the process. And with that, if there are no other questions or comments from the council, I will call for the question.
Question.
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. DeMade?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Hazen?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Mr. Belovich?
Yes.
Mr. Compton?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Hixenbaugh?
Yes.
Resolution passes 9-0. And I would ask for everybody to sign the resolution before you leave from the meeting tonight.
Yes, council members, if you would do that. The record should also reflect that this is the first step in a multi-stage process. Pursuant to the law, the clerk now will formally notify the county auditor of the action that this group has taken this evening, which then sets the stage for other legislative bodies who serve as part of the Income Tax Council to take action as they see fit to do so with regard to this same resolution. So thank you again for everybody involved in the process, and thank you, Madam Clerk, for your assistance as well.
Resolution R 2021-20, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, approving a petition of the Mishawaka Board of Zoning Appeals for the property located at 218 West Cleveland Road, Granger, Indiana. This is using use variance to allow microblading permanent makeup at 218 West Cleveland Road.
Thank you. This is a public hearing on proposed resolution 2021-20. Anyone who's physically present who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed resolution, if you would, please come forward to the podium and state your name and address for the record. I suspected that was what you were here for.
Sorry, I don't.
That's okay. You're doing fine.
My name is Autumn Spittler, 2006 Ontario Road, number 85, Niles, Michigan, 49120. I'm here to support the use variance to allow microblading permanent makeup at our Studio 16 salon at 218 West Cleveland Road.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the council? Mrs. Volker.
Thank you.
I actually not a question, just a comment. Drove by, I happened to be up on the north side of town today, and I didn't go in, but you have a great sign. So how long have you been there?
We moved in the first week of April.
Okay, all right, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome to our fair city.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. DeMaid?
Mr. President. Can you tell us a little bit about the pre-procedure instructions that you give your clients? And I realize that this is not, as you see in most salons, walk-ins welcome. This is not a walk-ins welcome procedure.
Yes.
So if you could explain a little bit how,
So we would do an initial consultation with them and give them some requirements before they can even have the treatment, which like we require that they haven't been on certain medicines or blood thinners, retinols, things like that. And we go over all those points with them just to make sure that they're a good candidate for the procedure. And I mean, it's a long list of questions, but yeah.
and you do have them sign waivers?
Oh, yes, for sure, yes.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else physically present who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed resolution? If so, please come forward. Then is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed resolution? Is there anyone physically present who wishes to speak in opposition to the proposed resolution? And is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition to the proposed resolution? Are there any council members who wish to speak? If not, then I call for the question.
Question.
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. DeMaid?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Hazen?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Mr. Belovich?
Yes.
Mr. Compton?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Hicksenbach?
Yes.
Proposed resolution passes 9-0.
Ordinances on second reading.
Proposed ordinance number 2021-25, an ordinance transferring funds from the Motor Vehicle Highway Restricted Fund to the City of Mishawaka to the local road and bridge matching grant fund of the City of Mishawaka for the calendar year ending December 31st, 2021, and an ordinance appropriating additional funds for the year ending December 31st, 2021. This is a transfer of funds and additional appropriation in the Motor Vehicle Highway Restricted Fund in the amount of $386,620 to the local Bridge and Road Matching Grant Fund, additional appropriation of funds to local Bridge and Road Matching Grant Funds in the amount of $765,240.
Thank you. May we have the committee report, please?
Yes, Mr. President. To the members of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka, your Committee on Budget and Finance, to whom was referred the matter of proposed ordinance number 2021-25, report that they have examined said matter and that in their opinion it should be adopted. This is signed by the entire committee, and I move for its acceptance.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve the committee report. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. This is the second reading and public hearing on proposed ordinance 2021-25. Anyone wishing to speak in favor, please come forward.
Yes, if I may, Mr. President, Debbie Block, Mishawaka City Clerk, this is my groundhog ordinance. This is the third time that we've come to you with this ordinance. It seems like publications have been very, very difficult to deal with for this one, but they have been done correctly this time. The Tribune actually did what they were supposed to do, and we're all set, and I ask that you vote favorably so Becky doesn't kill me.
Yeah, we're all in favor of that, so. Any questions from Madam Clerk with regard to the technical publication issue related to this ordinance? Thank you, Debbie. Is there anyone else physically present who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed ordinance? If so, please come forward. Is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed ordinance? Then is there anyone physically present who wishes to speak in opposition to the proposed ordinance? And once again, is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition to the proposed ordinance? Are there any council members who wish to speak? If not, then I call for the question.
Question.
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. DeMade?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Hazen?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Mr. Belovich?
Yes.
Mr. Compton?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Hicksonbaugh?
Yes.
Proposed ordinance passes once again 9-0. Thank you. Proposed ordinance number 2021-26, an ordinance declaring an emergency and determining the expenditure of additional funds for the year ending December 31st, 2021. This is additional appropriation in the CARES Provider Relief Fund, capital outlays for medical equipment in the amount of $44,576, and I have proof of publications right here before me.
Excellent. May we have the committee report, please?
Yes, Mr. President. To the members of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka, your Committee on Budget and Finance, to whom was referred the matter of proposed ordinance number 2021-26, report that they have examined said matter and that, in their opinion, it should be adopted. This is signed by the entire committee, and I move for its acceptance.
Second.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to approve the committee report. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This is the second reading and public hearing on proposed ordinance number 2021-26. Anyone wishing to speak in favor, please come forward.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the council, Rebecca McGuire, City Controller. For your consideration tonight is an appropriation of CARES Act Provider Relief Fund money we received last year due to us servicing Medicare patients with our ambulances. And what the fire department is going to use is to purchase a new Tahoe to replace an aging Tahoe in their fleet. And Chief Woodward wrote a letter detailing that it's used as a first responder vehicle, and there's always a medic on it, and it's been very useful for the department, and it's also used to deliver COVID PPE supplies to the various departments. And Chief Woodward is also here tonight to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for the controller? Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to physically present who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed ordinance? If so, please come forward to the podium. Then is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed ordinance? Is there anyone physically present who wishes to speak in opposition to the proposed ordinance? If so, please come forward. And then is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition to the proposed ordinance? Thank you. Are there any council members who wish to speak? Chief, let me echo the controller's comments. Thank you for the information that you submitted in your letter. It was simple enough that I can understand it, so I appreciated you including all the detail, and it made perfect sense, so thank you with that. With that, if there are no other questions and comments, I will call for the question.
Question.
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. DeMade?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Hazen?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Mr. Belovich?
Yes.
Mr. Compton?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Hicksonbaugh?
Yes.
Proposed ordinance passes 9-0. Proposed ordinance number 2021-27, an ordinance declaring an emergency and determining the expenditure of additional funds for the year ending December 31st, 2021. This is additional funds in cumulative capital development, service contract software maintenance in the amount of $75,000, and I do have proofs of publication.
Excellent. May we have the committee report, please?
Yes, Mr. President. To the members of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka, your Committee on Budget and Finance, to whom was referred the matter of proposed ordinance number 2021-27, report that they have examined said matter and that their opinion, it should be adopted. This is signed by the entire committee, and I move for its acceptance.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve the committee report. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This is the second reading and public hearing on proposed ordinance 2021-27. Anyone wishing to speak in favor, please come forward.
Good evening again, City Controller Becky Miller. This is an additional appropriation for the Cumulative Capital Development Fund. There's been a steady increase in service contract needs and software maintenance, and we're appropriating an additional $75,000 to make it through the rest of the year.
Thank you. Any questions for the controller? Thank you, Becky. Is there anyone else physically present who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed ordinance? If so, please come forward. Is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed ordinance? Is there anyone physically present who wishes to speak in opposition to the proposed ordinance? And then is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition to the proposed ordinance? Are there any council members who wish to speak?
Evidently.
Anyone else? Hearing none, then I call for the question.
Question?
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. DeMaid?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Hazen?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Mr. Belovich?
Yes.
Mr. Compton?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yeah.
Mr. Hixenbach?
Yes.
Proposed ordinance passes 920.
We will now move into privilege of the floor. At this time, members of the public are invited to the podium or to participate remotely to speak with respect to non-agenda items only under privilege of the floor. Thank you. This evening, we have no unfinished business that I am aware of, so we will move into new business. Is there any new business to come before the council? Mrs. Volker?
I'm going to struggle a little bit, I'm sorry. I just wanted to compliment the City of Mishawaka Police, Fire, and, excuse me, Central Services for all of the work that they've done on the cleanup from the storm last week. Lincoln Way was a mess, and traffic was stopped in both directions for a number of hours, and they just did an amazing job of getting huge trees cleaned up, and also down an alley. And then even today, they were out picking up debris. So I just wanted to make, a shout out. Police were out, fire was out. It was pouring rain, utilities, right, thank you. Yeah, thank God. It's the longest in 30 years we've ever been without power. And the power came out at 2 o'clock in the morning. So they were out all night working. Thanks for bringing that up. Anyway, we really appreciate it. I want to say thanks.
Thank you. Any other new business to come before the council? Along the lines of thank yous then, those agencies of city government, along with others, the park department and any other individuals, deserve some accolades for their participation in the National Night Out Against Crime. It was a well-attended event in both locations, both Merrifield and Twin Branch. The weather was good, people were enjoying themselves, and those of us who managed to make it to the new pavilion at Twin Branch Park got to see our friend and colleague, Councilman Mammaletti, working feverishly behind the grill, serving up food to our residents of the Twin Branch neighborhood. So thank you to all involved for your work on that evening as well. And with that, if there is no other new business to come before the council, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
We are adjourned. Thank